This video summarizes the changes to the RE52. This form, known as the Property Sale Contingency Addendum, is typically used when a buyer has to make their offer. We'll call it offer number one. Contingent on the sale of their current home, we'll call that offer number two. The use of this form, it's not even used with every single one of those types of transactions, but it is used from time to time. And so the text of this agreement addresses certain things, and one of the things it addresses is, how buyer, it describes a property, talks about the listing status, talks about listing brokerage, and then contract status. And you can see what we added in here is this: unless earnest money has previously become non-refundable. The reason that was added is because there are some circumstances where a buyer would, for whatever reason, they've got money that went hard, went non-refundable. So with the statement, the way the contract existed was, in those circumstances, we could have something that was less than clear when we say it shall be returned to buyer. But we all know there are some circumstances where earnest money has previously become non-refundable. For example, if the list agent catches this offer and says, man, I don't want to get involved with somebody who's got a house they got to sell, it's going to be too complex. And so buyer wants to sweeten it a little bit and says, okay, here's the deal. I'll give you some non-refundable earnest money just for accepting my offer. So I put down earnest money, and we say everybody, buyer, seller, agrees that the time that that PSA, by the time that offer is made and accepted, that earnest money just immediately goes non-refundable. Well, without the new highlighted language in this form, we would create a bit of a conflict, because we're saying it shall be returned. Well, what about if they have agreed? So what the highlighted language does is it just basically further allows the freedom to contract. So if a buyer were to agree for earnest money to go non-refundable for whatever reason, and that's a choice always up to buyer whether they want to do that or they don't. It's, a lot of people say, well, the seller forced them to do it. Well, that's not entirely true, right? The buyer can never be forced to do anything they don't want to do. But for whatever reason, the earnest money went non-refundable. So we want to make sure that we allow for that freedom of contract and that we're not, bumping into things. So this was added in 3 different places in this contract. These 2 lines you're seeing here, and then similar down here in section 6. So just providing for all possible alternatives, making sure these forms can, again, play nicely together and account for a lot of different circumstances to be used universally throughout the state. And that's the end of the review of the RE52.